get asked a lot of questions regarding Airbnb businesses. So I thought I'll take it upon myself to do the research, bring it here for you guys to get all this knowledge as well. I did reach out to a friend of mine that does actually have an Airbnb business and asked them a few questions. So they gave me the behind the veil. I like to know the behind the scenes. I don't want all that fluffy information where someone's trying to sell me a course. No, I want to know the ins and outs, the pros and the cons of setting up an Airbnb business. So today, guys, I will be informing you guys on things you need to know before setting up an Airbnb business. Before we even think about starting an Airbnb business, we need to be doing research. Make sure you get your pencil, your paper, and start that research. Because do not jump and just start something when you don't have the thorough knowledge or research on it. Do not get duped with all the information that you see on social media regarding starting up an Airbnb business. I would recommend anyone who's looking to start an Airbnb business to do the research, contact people that already have an Airbnb business, go on ChatGPT, research on what it takes to start and to manage an Airbnb business. Market research, go online, go on Rightmove, look into the feasibility. Does it make sense? Is there a demand for your property in the market? Do you think customers are going to stay at your property? These are some of the questions that you need to be thinking about before you even get into the process of starting your Airbnb business. For a beginner, I would say you should start off with a 1-bedroom property. So go on Airbnb, check for 1-bedroom apartments in the location that you're looking to start in, and look at the prices that's currently on the market being rented for short-term rentals. Look at the types of listings, look at the occupancy. Are they fully occupied, or is it just occupied for a couple of days out of the month? You have to really look into these details, guys, and really do thorough research, because if you're trying to compete and you're trying to get into the same market and the same location as these apartments, and if the apartments are not really fully occupied, that's going to be a key indicator to you that your property may not be successful. You have to ask yourself, is there actually demand here for an Airbnb in this area? You have to put yourself in the shoe of a customer. And also, if you were traveling to that location, let's say I'm traveling to Manchester. So if I'm traveling to Manchester, where would I want to be as a customer? Do I want to be in the outskirts of Manchester? Do I want to be inside the city centre? What's nearby? Are there good transport links? You need to be thinking these small details when you're looking to acquire a property for Airbnb. Always do your desktop research, but also do the physical market research. Go out there, walk around the area, so you can get a better understanding on the area and see if this is the kind of area that the person that you're trying to market to would actually book a property in that location. You also have to think about your target guest. Is it a couple? Is it a solo traveler? Have an idea of the kind of visitors that you want to be in your property. I would recommend solo travelers or couples. Those are the kind of people that are going to be always traveling all the time. And you can even put a premium for those kinds of travelers if the apartment is in a luxury state. People buy with their eyes. So you have a property that's beautiful and very clean, aesthetic as well. Like, people don't mind paying the extra price for it. So you have to create an environment that people want to stay at. Do not skip this step, because this is going to determine the kind of profits that you're going to be making from your Airbnb business. Check if there's a demand. If there's not a demand, then I think you should stop right there and just call it a day. But if there is a demand, then go ahead to the next step. The next step is setting up your business. So create a limited company, go on the Gov UK website, and then open a business bank account. You don't need insurance to start, but I would say look into getting a short-term rental insurance. You don't need to get it straight away, but have an idea of the kind of insurance that you're going to need in the future. At the beginning stages, you don't need to get one just as yet. So the big question is, how do I actually get a property without owning it? How do I actually get a property from a landlord in the first place? If you're a beginner like me, what I would do, I would actually go on Rightmove, contact estate agents, contact landlords, and ask if they would be open to let the property to you to manage and run as a short-term rental, where you will put on Airbnb or Booker.com. But that could be a bit tedious, a bit slow, you know, you may get a lot of rejection. You know, a lot of landlords don't know the concept of an Airbnb business. It's quite a new concept too. It's a rent-to-rent business model, and some landlords don't like to be risky. What you also could do to give yourself a better chance is to contact a property sourcer, and they will do all the work for you. They'll literally find you the property, negotiate with the landlord, and you know, get you the property much more quicker and faster than you doing it yourself. You will pay the property sourcer a fee if they do find you a property for your Airbnb business. I would always recommend you using more than one property sources. Do not just depend on one. Whoever gets you the property the fastest and get you a good deal, then go with them. But do not pay these property sources a deposit. You do not need to pay them a deposit. Once they have secured you the deal and you have negotiated with the landlord the monthly rent and you sign the contract, then the property sourcer gets their finder's fee. But make sure you have negotiated your finder's fee with the property sourcer. Roughly figures could be from around £3,000 for a property sourcer, but sometimes it's just worth it, guys, because they are more experienced with finding a property. You're not having the best knowledge of what to do with an Airbnb business. It's just best to just get people who are better expertise. The model of an Airbnb business is basically a rent-to-rent business model. So that's where rents a property from the landlord. You don't own the property. You then sublet the property on Airbnb or Booker.com for short-term rental. But you are liable to pay the landlord a guaranteed rent that you've negotiated each month. So that's basically the principles of a rent-to-rent Airbnb business model. Once you've got secured your property, I would also recommend just doing for a beginner, just do a 1-year lease to see how the property goes. And also add in probably like a 6-month break clause, because if you just got the property and it's not doing well, you can always vacate the property in the 6-month break. Make sure you always have like a 1 or 2 month rent buffer, just in case, you know, the first couple of weeks of setting up and starting your Airbnb business doesn't mean it's going to get busy. So always have 1 or 2 month rent buffer, just in case. So what most people want to know, how much is it going to cost? Roughly, I would say you should start off with £5,000 to £6,000 for an Airbnb business. That includes the sources fee. That includes, I would recommend getting a furnished apartment. Do not get an unfurnished apartment. Just make sure it's furnished, because you don't have to spend a lot of money furnishing the apartment, especially as a beginner. You don't want to invest so much into something and then it doesn't work out and you spend so much money on that property. So just invest in the sourcer, the rent and deposit, and then, you know, a bit of furniture like glasses, cutlery, things like that. Plus, I would always recommend keeping a £1,000 buffer, just in case issues arise. Let's say the boiler breaks down, then, you know, you can get that repaired quickly. You have to remember, guys, it's not the responsibility of the landlord. You are responsible of the running and management of that property. The landlord has signed it over for you to rent. So you have to think about all these different problems that may arise and be aware of them, just in case, because you're going to have to deal with them in a timely manner, because no customer is going to want to hear that the hot water is not working. They paid for their service, so they expect a 5 out of 5 star service. Guys, this is not just a business that you just leave and you just go home and you just sit and chill. No, this is a hospitality business. You have to be hospitable. You have to make sure you are on the ball. Make sure customer satisfaction is a key. You have to make sure that everything runs smoothly. The property is well kept, it's well cleaned. The next step is setting up the property. You need to make sure you have cleaning service for your property. So you have to go out there, look for quotes. You can go on Facebook groups, look for cleaners, look for local cleaners around. You get good linen as well, and make sure you have also washing and storage facilities. So at the start, you may just wash your own linen and clean the property yourself, but later down the line, when things start to pick up, you may need to outsource these services. to a cleaning service or to a dry cleaning service as well. So once you started your business, you need to understand the running of the business. You need to maintain it. So I'd recommend you getting a management system, which is subscription based, where all your bookings, messages and calendars are all integrated and managed efficiently. So you know when people are booked in, you know when cleaners are in the property ready to clean for the next customer. This system is called PMS. It's a property management software. It also provides like a pricing tool to determine what kind of rates you should be renting your property at each day, or what's the peak time, off-peak time. These tools are really good because it helps analyze data and helps maximize profit. For your first 30 to 40 days, you should price below market, so then you can get more customers coming in and more customers leaving reviews. And once you get a good amount of good reviews, then up the price. But yeah, that's what your main focus should be, getting good customer satisfaction, 5 stars out of 5 stars, because the more reviews they have that are positive, the more customers are going to come back to your property over and over again. Some advice, guys: do not scale straight away. Do not get excited and think, oh wow, I'm making a bit of money here, so yeah, let's start getting more properties and more properties. Start off with one and just maintain that one for the year or 2 years, and just gradually get all the profit and reinvest into the business again. Do not keep spending the profit and thinking, yeah, I'm going to just keep spending money and buying more furniture and buying this and buying that. Be very smart. You have to remember, it's a business at the end of the day. You can't just be thinking you're just going to be making so much money and you're going to be getting rich off one property. When people are talking about Airbnb business, it is a business. It's not a get rich quick scheme. You're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow. Those people that generate a lot of profit from these Airbnb business is because they have multiple properties. It's not just one property. So you need to make sure that you do not scale straight away. Make sure you start off small and work your way up until you see that you're comfortably making profit from these properties. A lot of people try and scale straight away, and then that's when issues and things arise, and that's when all the business has to close down because they scale too soon. You probably won't make profit straight away. It may take up to 4 to 5 months to generate some profit. So do not be deterred, guys. If you're thinking, I'm not making any profit, I'm just going to shut this down. Just keep at it. If you're really interested into starting an Airbnb business, you need to be committed. You do not just start something because you see everybody else do it. You need to really want to start this business and really push yourself. You cannot watch other people think, yeah, this is the way I'm going to get rich. This is a very hands-on job. It's technically property management, and that is very labor intensive. Cleaning, you need to be managing people, you need to be managing guests, customers, satisfaction. Are guests happy? What if a guest is not happy? Are you able to deal with conflict with guests and making sure guests are happy with the service? These are the kind of things that you need to be thinking. Do not think it's just a thing where you just sit at home and it's going to run itself. No, you need to be very hands-on, especially in the beginning stages with this business. It's very time consuming, very intensive. And at the end of the day, I would say it's basically a hospitality business. So you need to really be passionate about hospitality as well. Making sure your service is great. These are the kind of qualities that you need to be having if you really want to start an Airbnb business. So guys, do not just jump and just say, yeah, I just want to start a business today. Be very mindful that things may can go wrong. So if you're passionate and you still want to do an Airbnb business, I would recommend you getting the research, speak to other people that do have an Airbnb business, reach out to people, go LinkedIn, go to networking events, speak to other Airbnb business owners that run their own businesses and get information from them as well. Always do your research. Do not go into this blindly, guys. Make sure you do research and look into it. So guys, if you want more videos like this, please make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.